Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at BTC. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so before we actually jump into the smaller degree counts here, just want to go over some of those higher time frame ideas. So within the bullish one, we're looking for this as a potential 1-2-1-2. And what we would be looking for is something along these lines where this becomes 1-2-1-2. And actually what we're looking for is a third wave target is this 51,778 region. So if we continue to actually hold this low here of this 24,800, potentially we could be looking to form a bigger 5-wave structure up here, looking for this high of this third wave towards this 51,778. Now we need to be careful because if we had to just see something like this where we actually push up to this 1-2-1, we'd need to just be on the lookout that this count isn't just a bigger corrective move and that this whole structure is just a corrective move to the upside. So we need to just be careful of that idea that this isn't just a connector wave here and we have ABC, and then we could still look for that continuation down. But as long as we actually hold that 24,800 level, we can look for this potential. Now the other way we were discussing this as a higher time frame count here was actually looking for the possibility that our wave 1 is actually into this area here. So this could be either A or wave 1. And what we'd then be looking for is actually a deeper retracement here, where we're actually looking for this lower target area here of this 23,580 to this 18,109. Now, if we are looking at this in this way, what we'd be looking for effectively would be the idea that we're going to see another push to the downside. So we'd be looking at this internal bit as a flat correction and then looking to actually target out this 0.382 to this 50%, which would be up here at this 23,580 to this 21,830 level. Obviously, we do have some areas of support within here. We have this one higher up here, which we actually bounced off of this 25,000 area, but lower down here, we do have some peaks which are sitting towards some of these 382s and this 50% level. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that if we do actually move down. Now, if we are looking at that idea of actually seeing that bigger breakdown here, what we were talking about is looking at this as either this is a bigger W, X, and we're looking for a Y wave to the downside, in which case that 1-to-1 is this 26,200 level. Alternatively, if we are looking at this as ABC, and this has actually come back above this origin, we need to be open to the idea that this all could be A, B, and then we see a bigger C wave to the downside. Still looking for this potential of coming down towards this 25,067 to this 23,373 level, looking to actually sweep these lows here before potentially looking to continue up. Obviously, if we did get something developed like this, we'd have to watch the retracement because it could just be that this is a wave, we get a B wave, and then we still see that C wave down. So it could actually just mean we're going to see a bigger correction playing out for a longer period if we're looking at that secondary count. Now, if we are looking at this possibility of being within this X wave, what I'm looking for is a typical actual B wave retracement for a flat is actually between this 33,246 to this 31,000. So we've actually come down into this 31,000 level. Another area of interest here is this 32,369 area. And this is because we do have these highs that are sitting here as well from the 1st of June 2022 and the 6th of June 2022. So I would be very interested to see if we get an interaction with these highs up here. Potentially we could look to either in the bullish case here, look to flip these as support and then continue on. Alternatively, in the bearish case, look to test these out and then look for that continuation to the downside. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. We have been consolidating at this level here. Potentially we could look to break to the upside, but we also need to be aware that this could actually just start to fall off into this Y wave or into this 5-wave structure. So we're going to go over the internals now. There was a few ways that we were talking about these in the previous video. We're saying that, you know, potentially this could be completed into this low and we're looking for a 5th wave up. So within that kind of idea, what we were talking about is the potential that this could be a 4th wave, and we're looking for this as a 5th wave, target area being this 32,685 to this 31,905. So some other targets for this as a potential wave 5 would be the 1-to-1 of the wave 1, which is sitting here at this 31,926, and we have the 0.382 of the wave 1-to-3, which is sitting higher up towards the higher end of this target box. So still keeping an eye on this. The problem is here that if we're going to get something like a diagonal, it's possible that we could actually fail to achieve these highs. So we need to be careful of that potential of actually coming back up here and looking to, you know, test this high of this wave 3 or potentially even failing to do so. So Within this count to the upside here, we would be looking at two ideas. So if we are looking for that fifth wave to the upside, what we'd be saying here is that effectively we could either see this as a diagonal pattern. Now we were looking for this earlier, or from further back here, looking for something like this, but this move to the upside actually went too high. So the way that I'm looking at this rather now is that if this is a diagonal, potentially what we could have is this is a 1, this is a 2, this is A, B, C, 3, and then now what we're looking for is this fourth wave to the downside. Now, I don't really want to see this fourth wave come too much lower than this 30,780. But the problem is that as a diagonal, ideally what we're looking for here is a interaction with this wave 1 high. So if we do see this as ABC, the problem then comes that this wave 4 is actually longer than the wave 2, which is a rule that shouldn't be broken with diagonals. So gonna have to keep an eye on this one. This could be a bit of a tricky one, could be indicating that this is actually not in play and we have one of the other options in play. But if we do see something like this as ABC down into these lows, an interaction with this wave 1, then we see another 3 wave move to the upside. This could actually look to complete a diagonal if we are looking at it in that way. The only problem I have is that that relationship between this wave 2 and 4 would actually be broken then. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on this because the wave 1 high is actually lower down towards this 30,756. Now, if we did have to see something as a diagonal here, this could be our wave 5. Or alternatively, what this could be is that we could be getting extensions. This becomes 1, 2, and then we'd be looking for the potential of a third wave to the upside. And validation of this would actually come by crossing this 29,500 level, which would be this low point over here. So we can't go lower than that. Otherwise, this would invalidate this potential blue count from playing out here, where we could see, you know, a diagonal for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looking for this as a fifth wave, looking to target out the higher area of this. Now, if we're looking for that bullish case where we're going to look for a breakout, we could also argue something along these lines. Now, there's a couple of ways of counting this. What we could argue is that within here we have 1, 2, 3. This is 4 as a triangle. We have 5. This is ABC for a wave 2. And then what we have here is the potential that this is 1, 2. And then we could also have 1, 2 here again. Now, this would be valid for as long as we hold this 30,570 level. And what I'd be looking out for here is that if we are looking at this count where we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, what we want to see is when this reverses, we want to see nice, clean, strong price action to the upside. And we want to see volume increasing as it does. We want to see a lot of volume picking up because effectively this would be the wave 3 over 3 over 3 over 3. So it would mean that, you know, this needs to take off if it is going to be actually playing out in this way. Like I said, invalidation of this count is this 30,570 level. And if we do cross that, then we would invalidate this possibility. Now, some target areas for this as a potential wave 2. We've already come down into the golden pocket here, this 30,879 to this 30,853. If we do see price actually fall back down here, I would be keeping an eye on the 786, which is sitting here at this 30,744, because I wouldn't really want to come too much deeper than that. Now, within this yellow target box here, that we have this 30,656 to this 30,427 region, we do actually have a weekly naked point of control, which is sitting here at this 30,655. So this would be quite an interesting level as well, because this would actually be looking to back test this area of horizontal resistance and support here. So if we do see price actually overshoot the 786, it wouldn't surprise me if we come down to this, but then we also run the risk that, you know, if we start to break down to these levels, are we going to invalidate this count? So we need to just obviously keep that in mind. This is valid. It's not very high confidence, this count here, because of the fact that I just don't really like this wave 1 that much, to be honest with you. It is technically possible, but you could also just count this ABC. This is a bigger corrective move, and then we just have this as a big correction. So we're going to go over that in a second. But the idea here would be that if we actually hold this low here of this 30,570, what we could see is price start to develop where this becomes 1, 2. We get a third wave up here towards this 32,218 level. Then we'd be looking for an additional fourth and a fifth, which could look to push us up towards this 32,540 to the 32,341. Then the key thing here would be having an additional fourth wave to the downside, looking to find support in this previous fourth wave. Invalidation would then become the high of this wave one, which would be this 30,800. If we did see something along these lines, this could potentially push us to the upside, where we're actually looking for this higher target if it plays out exactly as I have it mapped out here. Obviously, these things can change if we do get extensions within these waves, but effectively this could potentially look to actually target out this 33,310 to this 32,924 level as a possible target for this as an extension in a 5-wave move. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on it and see if it plays out. The thing is, even within these internals here, what we need to be aware is there is also the possibility that you can count this in this way, where we say that this is 1, this is 2, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is a wave 4 here, and we still see one more push to the upside, looking for this 31,693 to this 31,499. Now this would only be invalidated by taking this high over here, this 30,693. But it's not the primary way I'm counting this at the moment. I think it would make a lot more sense if this is 1, 2 here. And then actually what we have is this is another 1, this is a 2. And then if we're going to look to push to the upside, it'll be like that or through that diagonal option. So that's looking at that idea that we are still within a 5th wave. Now, it is possible that, however, we are already completed. Now, if we are completed, what we're saying is that we actually completed into this high over here. And what we are looking for is the potential to be in a deeper retracement. Now, we could argue that this is 1 and we've had a really short wave 2, in which case what we'd then be looking for would be this potential where we actually have this as 1, 2 here. And what we're looking then for confirmation is a move up to 41,917. But it would have been very short. In fact, it would have been to this 263, which is a very rare target of this as a wave 2. So we need to just be aware that this can happen, but you need more evidence to say this is playing out. You need to find a 5-wave move, get support here, and then start to break away from this zone to be more confident. Otherwise, it could just be that we are looking for a bigger corrective move to the downside. So now talking about that idea of that bigger corrective move. So if we do complete into this high, as we said over here, what we could actually see is something along these lines. So we're talking about the possibility that this whole move here could be an A wave, and we're looking to actually form this as a B wave to the upside. Now, if we are looking at this in this way, what we could argue here is that I've got this labeled ABC, but it could be WXABC for Y, and that actually could be completed. Now, if I drag this over here, we can see that the 1-to-1 here, which is this 31,432 level, was almost met with this move to the upside. So technically speaking, this could actually be enough here, and we could actually just have this as a corrective move, and then we are completed. So this means that, we did come up towards this 1-to-1 of this as an A wave. So if we do actually start to break down here, we didn't take the high, so we couldn't look at it as an irregular flat. But what we could actually still see is the potential that we could see a move down towards this level of this 1-to-1, which would actually be this 29,443 if we're going to look at this as a flat playing out as it is here. Now, if we are not completed and we still look to push up a little bit higher here, where potentially what we could form is this is an A, we come back down here for a B, then we get a C wave up. What we could actually see is potential to come up into this higher range here, this 32,202 to this 31,906 level. So if we do see something like this, where either this becomes W, X, Y, X, and Z, and we get one more push to the upside, or alternatively, this becomes W, we get X and Y, we could look to push up into this range and still look for this possibility of coming down in this C wave at a later date. Now, if we take this origin of this wave A, which is sitting here at this 31,444, what we could actually see play out here is we could then see a 5-wave move to the downside, looking to actually target out this lower range here of this 29,497 to this 28,791 region. So that would be looking at that possibility of a bigger breakdown here, where this becomes an A, B, and a C. So that is looking at this in this way. Now, there is another way of counting this. However, we could argue that we are still within this yellow Y wave, where this is actually W, this is X, and then what we have here is A, B, and C. Now, I wouldn't like to see this get too much bigger, but if we do just actually get a 5-wave drop to the downside here, where from this point we form 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, what we could see is price could actually come down towards this area here of this 1-to-1, which would be this 29,587. Now the thing is here with this, we have just slightly broken this as a wave origin. So if we are looking at this as A, B, and C as a flat, potentially we could see this even extend out towards this lower range of this 29,185 to this 28,538 as possible target areas. Now this would be interesting because then we could actually be looking to align with some of these lower targets, the 1236, the 1382, and then potentially even this 1618. Now I wouldn't want to see us get bigger than this 1618 because typically speaking, a WXY is not going to exceed this 1618 level. If we are looking at exceeding this, then we need to be careful that you know, from here we don't have that idea that this is A, B, and then we've got a bigger C wave to the downside that's actually looking to play out. So that would be looking at, you know, the lower time frame ideas here. Now this is looking at the idea that we could actually see that continuation up. Like I said, we could have this as WXY as an A wave. Now this move to the downside is just looking corrective at the moment. It is possible we still see that you know, that bullish count where we could look to break out from here. But if we do start to break down and we see this as A, we come back up, we fail to take this high, we see A, B, C, something like this, then I'd be looking out for that potential of actually coming back into this yellow target box that we talked about earlier, this 30,656 to this 30,427 region, which could actually offer us support here, as we do also have some naked points of control that are sitting within here. So at the upper end we have a daily and a weekly sitting at this 30,654 level. We have a daily one here towards this 30,511, and right at the bottom here, which aligns with the idea of that 50% retracement, this weekly naked point of control sitting at this 30,427. Coming back into this level could be considered a retest, so we could look to actually retest this area, as well as there's some local swing lows over here that we could look to potentially fail off of. So going to be keeping an eye on that if we do see price come back down into this level. Now I would be looking at this, I would prefer this not to take this 29,500 if this is the case, but effectively if this is going to be an A, a B, and a C, we can still develop this as a flat. We see price actually sweep this low and then look for that continuation up. So this would be looking at that bigger idea of a corrective move. This would no longer fit into that idea of this being 4 and then 5. If we see something like this, A, B, C, then effectively that idea of continuation in that fifth wave is wrong, and our fifth wave actually completed over here. So I just wanted to go over that. Now, talking about that possibility that we could look for a 5-wave move to the downside here, what we need to be careful of is that if we are looking at this in this way, we could potentially look to break down in a 5-wave move. Now I don't like this count so much anymore. We were looking at that possibility in the previous video that this could be 1, 2, this could be 1, 2, but we actually came up here and took this area. So this means that we can't look at it as that 1, 2, 1, 2. Now it hasn't invalidated completely yet. If we cross 31,431, this is good because then it invalidates the idea that this could be 1, 2, and then we're looking for a bigger 5-wave move to the downside towards this 28,766. We need to get back above this level to invalidate that idea. So as long as we fail to break this high, I'm going to be careful that if we start to develop 5-wave structure down here, this could actually turn into a bigger 3rd wave. So we need to just be a little bit cautious of that. Now, if we are looking at the idea that rather within this, we have this is A, this is B, and a C wave to the downside, what we would be looking for then would actually be the possibility that we could be looking to break down in a 5-wave move. So some of these targets can move, but what I'm looking for here is the idea that within this count, as long as we hold this 31,350, what we have is a 3-wave move down, but we do have 5-wave structure in this. So potentially what we could actually see is that this is 1, 2, this is 1. We're looking for a bigger wave 2 here, where we could actually look to push up towards this 31,246 to this 31,108 level. Now this lower 50% level would be interesting because it would be a retest of these lows here. So be keeping an eye on that. The potential is here, however, that, you know, if we look at this count, we could also argue this is 1, 2, 3. This is actually a fourth wave, and we still got a fifth wave to the downside. So I'm just keeping an eye on this. If we do just see one more smaller push to the downside into this 30,840 level to this 30,778 level, then potentially this could be a fifth wave. Alternatively, if we start to break down deeper, this could actually be wave 1, 2, and then we're looking already for this third. Now, I'd ideally like this to go higher, to be honest with you, but if we had to break down directly towards this 30,288 level, effectively that would then tie into the idea that this is 1, 2, this would become our third, we'd get a fourth and a fifth to the downside, and then we'd be looking for that potential of continuation with effectively another fourth and a fifth wave here. So gonna have to just be a little bit cautious of this. If we do look to break down where this is 1, 2, and we get that bigger push down for wave 3 hitting that 1618, then we could have this additional 5 wave structure in this way. Now, if we see a 5 wave move down like this, what this can mean is that this could be either a C wave, in which case we could look to complete that idea of this is A, B, and C, which I would be keeping an eye on the center channel, because if it plays out like I have it marked out here, potentially what we could actually see is that play out as something like a running flat, where what happens is the price actually fails to take this A wave low. Now, this can happen sometimes, particularly in markets that are trending to the upside. We can see these running flats occur, so need to just be on the lookout for that idea that if we do look to push down like that, we could look to possibly find support above this high. Now, ideally, like I said, I'd like to see this retrace higher up here. Now, if we did come into this golden pocket area, which would be sitting here towards this 31,180 to this 31,165 level, what I'd then be looking for would be the potential that we could actually see price break back to the downside here, where this becomes this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we'd be looking for potentially moving into this 30,305. Then we'd be looking for an additional fourth wave here and a fifth wave to the downside, where we actually look to target out this 30,165 to this 30k region. So that would be if we don't get extension. If we start to get extension, these targets can change. Now, like I said, invalidation of this is coming back above this 31,350. But what we could actually still get here is that, like I said, within the other count, even if we fail to develop this as an impulse, this could be ABC, then we get a 3-wave move up, and then we see another move to the downside, in which case we could actually just see a move back to the upside here, face rejection, and just push down towards this 30,656 level if we were moved up towards this 0.618 zone. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.